Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to be talking today about the true birth of Jesus Christ, Yeshua. Um, Many people, most people, believe it was December 25th. But when we do a mathematical equation in the Bible, we can actually find very close to the real true date that he would have been born. First, we're going to start with, we got to go over a little bit of the Hebrew months. And the most important one is the month of Abib. Today, the Jews will call this Nisan. But when we look into Exodus chapter 12, starting at verse 1 and 2, and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. This is the calendar month Abib that God set up. This, when you read through this, you'll find this is where it is talking about Passover. Okay, Abib 14th is Passover biblically. So once we know where the calendar starts, now we can start this mathematical equation. The month of Abib relates to our calendar, give or take about our April. That's why Passover, for the most part, is in April, but there are some exceptions because of the calendars not lining up. Like here we are coming into 2021, and Passover will actually be in March this year. But for the most part, it's April. So for this consensus, we're going to do April. So when we take and look at the book of Luke, starting out in chapter 1, verse 5, this is where our mass is going to start. We're going to start with Zacharias and Elizabeth. They are the parents of John the Baptist. And verse 5, there was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zacharias of the course of Abia. This is King James Version. It says Abia, but you will find when we go to Chronicles, it is Abijah. So same course, just a little different spelling. And his wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. And they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord blameless. And they had no child, because that Elizabeth was barren, and they both were now well stricken in years. And it came to pass that while he executed the priest's office before God in the order of his course, according to the custom of the priest's office, his lot was to burn incense when he went into the temple of the Lord. So, the most important part here in 8 and 9, according to God in the order of his course. So you need to know what course he is part of. It already told us, Abia or Abijah, or Abiyah probably. When you go into the book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 24, verses 7 through 18, it will list all the different courses, and it will tell you what number they are. That number is the week they do service of the year. So Zacharias is of the 8th course, which would mean he does his service the 8th week of the year, which their calendar started Abib 1st, give or take, like I said, our April. Now, the catch to this is, during the high holy day holidays, such as Passover, and such as the Feast of Weeks, or as we would call it, Pentecost. When those fall in the period, all of the priests have to attend, and it interrupts the course. So every single calendar year, Zacharias would get bumped to the 9th week because of Passover for sure. Many years, he will get bumped to the 10th week because he will also have to do service during the week of Pentecost. So his course of service will actually always fall in the 9th to the 10th week. Now, if you read the entire chapter of Luke in due time, we're not going to actually do that, but I recommend that you do. You're going to find he went into the temple. There appeared to him an angel of the Lord standing on the right side of the temple of incense. And it told him, you're going to bear a child. And as we know, the angel made it because he had his doubts, so he couldn't speak. Later on, when the child is born, he comes out and he writes, his name is John. And he gets his speech back. So he does his course, he does his service, and he returns. And you will see in verse 23 to 25, it came to pass as soon as the days of his ministration were accomplished, he departed to his own house. And after those days, his wife Elizabeth conceived and hid herself 5 months. So he comes home, him and his wife have an intimate moment, and she conceives. She goes into hiding for 5 months, okay? So this dating is really important. So when you take and you say already, he is at the 9th or 10th week of the calendar year, he comes home, he conceives. Now we have to count out 5 more months. The next verse is really important. And in the 6 months, so she hides 5 months, and in the 6 months, the angel Gabriel was sent from God unto a city of Galilee named Nazareth to a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. So Elizabeth conceives. We can find her date on the calendar. 6 months later, the angel appears to Mary, and Mary conceives with Jesus. So when you look at this, you're going to find Elizabeth conceives in the month today called Sivan, in approximately the 18th and 25th. When you count out from his course where it ended to where he would have come home to where then she has hit her 5 months. So we're at the later part of June. When you count out the 6 months, later part of June is when she would have initially conceived. Let me make that clear. Then we count out for her 5 months of hiding, go into the 6 months when Mary would have conceived. This is going to put us into December. Approximately, in December, in Hebrew, the month is called Kislev. We are going to be approximately Kislev 24th. You're going to find this is Hanukkah time. And think of this, that is the Festival of Lights. Jesus Christ is the light of the world. So Mary is conceiving in December, not giving birth. Now, typical pregnancy is 40 weeks. I realize there's variation on there, but that is the basic standard textbook perfect. So if we count out 40 weeks from the middle part of December out, you are going to come to the end of September, beginning of October. Now, what is fascinating about that, if you know anything about the feast, every single feast out there is a prophecy of Jesus Christ. Passover, death, burial, first fruits, resurrection, all those feasts, Pentecost or the Feast of Weeks, the Holy Spirit came on to people where now law was wrote on stone, now it's wrote in our hearts. So fall feasts are up and coming. Trumpets, the return of the Messiah. Day of Atonement, Judgment Day, Feast of Tabernacles represents the 1,000-year millennial reign of the Messiah. Now, the Feast of Tabernacles, though, had a twofold type prophecy, because when you count all these dates out and go from Mary's conception, which we base that time frame on Elizabeth's conception, which we base that on when Zacharias did his course in the temple. So we are counting out, and you are going to fall that into September, October. And what holiday of biblical holy day falls into September, beginning of October? Feast of Tabernacles. What does tabernacle mean? God dwelling with man. Moses built the tabernacle, and the people would camp out because God would come and they would have the sacrifice and God would speak to the people. Now Jesus Christ is coming, and he's born during the same time. God dwelling with man, or to dwell with, and now the Son of God dwelling with man. So I truly believe that Jesus Christ was most likely born in the Feast of Tabernacles. Now, again, this is approximate, but it only seems to make good, common, logical sense. This would be it. When you do the mathematics and you're falling at this time frame, it makes sense if all the feasts are about the Messiah, that he would have been born there also. No proof of it, but when you read in John 7:37, you will find it says, in the last day, the great day of the feast. So on the Feast of Tabernacles, it's a 7-day feast. Then the 8th day is called the last day, the great day. Jesus Christ spoke on that great day, and it was always referred to as great day. I personally believe that 8th day, the great day, was the day Jesus Christ was born, on whichever year that was. Anyway, I know this is a Reader Digest type crash version of it, but you'll have to do the math. First Chronicles 24 is where you find the courses. Luke chapter 1 is where you're going to find the story of Zachariah and Elizabeth. John 7:37, you will find Jesus Christ preaching at the Feast of Tabernacles. Please research it out, and hopefully you'll change your mindset. And now the next question is, if Christ wasn't born on December 25th, who really was? The answer may surprise you. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the little video.